Hello and welcome back. I'm bballjo and this is Work as Resources Soviet Republic. Today another bballjo reviews and fixes all in one. And we're going way back to the roots of this game, what it's all about. SB Fury, a Patreon, thanks for supporting me, one, and two, thanks for sending me this save. They asked for a couple different things. First, how to plan better, tidy, and big enough cities in general. Yep, we'll get there. Then they also say that they have no idea how to build or plan a tourism city, which has started, but we're not there yet. And then they really appreciate the rail distribution office, yay. But they also say that their train network overall is just not working. Those are all things I would like to address today, and I hope you come along for that. Really quick, I have to get this out of the way first. If you have any interest in maybe having your game reviewed or fixed, however you want to do that, doesn't matter. But if you have interest in that, please go to the FAQ in my Discord server first. There are 11 points that I need you to follow. Just read them and it all makes sense. There's nothing complicated. Mainly, you have to save your save in the game. Just like this, I'm gonna show you right now. So you go here, you go save as, and then you save it in here, however you need to save, but as a regular save, create a new save, that's important. Use your name. Then you go to your save folder, because that's where they're saved, and you turn the folder for this save game into a zip file. That's what you submit to me via some means. I prefer Google Drive. If you have something else, please use that. But please follow those simple steps, and then I can actually open your save. If you don't follow those steps, I probably can't open your save. Also, do not worry about mods. I don't need a mod list. The game is great at subscribing to everything that a save needs. Like, it's perfectly capable. As long as it's available in the workshop, it will subscribe and download them. If it's not available in the workshop, then you may just have a couple buildings that get destroyed right at the beginning of the loading, but I don't need anything else. Just go to the FAQs, read them, submit the save, and I appreciate it, because if I have to go back and forth with you overall, then one of us gets annoyed, and that's never a good look. That's all. I do appreciate you guys sending me your saves, and I really like looking at them, and I really like going over them, but I want to do more of them, and I need more. I need a lot more. Like, keep them going. That'd be great. That's all. That's my whole spiel. Thank you. So, SB Fury. We'll just try to go down the list of things. So, first, we have a Republic here. Honestly, it's working pretty well. We're just at the end of winter, and happiness went from 80% to 72%. I'm sure there were some traffic jams, some heating was turned off for a little while, and some other things. It usually happens at time, but you have a lot of people already, so I'm not worried about that at all. We're in 1976. I don't know when you started, but I'm not worried about it, because again, we have a lot of people sitting here. Unemployment is great, so nothing to worry about there. Health is appropriate. Pollution, that's actually really high, 16%. Average lifespan is also pretty low because of that, so maybe look at that too. We can talk about that a little bit. And yeah, no, overall, you're doing really well. Loyalty is great, so everything is fine. The first question, SB Fury asked if I can look at or recommend some city building. And the thing that you will see in all of their cities is this. These big ballas, not ballas roast, but this name, this name, in all of the cities, which is, well, you see it here and it looks like, okay, that's this city, makes sense. And then you go over here and you say, oh, that's this city. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And you go over here. Oh, that's this city. And it's a little different, but they're still very similar. And then you're like, oh, it's this city, makes sense. The first thing that I will tell you and everyone else, I don't build the prettiest cities. Let's not kid ourselves. That's not what I do. It's not what this channel is about. But something that I try to do is keep a theme. Keep a theme for your city of something. It doesn't matter. Like the first city over here that we just looked at, I think this is fine. It could be better, but it's a little chaotic city. If you keep all of the themes the same, that they always have the same building in here, that's fine. Maybe you're able to find a couple other mods that fit into the style of these buildings for shopping and for hospitals, for university, like for everything that you want to throw in here, and then it's okay. The way it is right now, honestly, I think is okay too. There's nothing really right or wrong about this. You even have some one-way roads in here. Pretty nice. I like it. The problem is when this city is just repeated in some way, shape, or form. And here's the thing, if you like these buildings, go ahead, build them. Absolutely. If you like this style of buildings, do it. My channel says on the banner, just play the games. And I always, someone just called me out on that on Reddit, and I appreciate that. I always say, play the game you like it. Don't let anyone tell you that you're playing it wrong, because as long as you're having fun, you're playing it right. I stand by that. But then I also come along saying people that play with oil or other easy starter resources, like I'm doing right now in Season 4 with Bauxite, just make a big deal about it. And I'm back and forth on that, but don't let that hinder yourself from playing the way that you want to play. So if you like this stuff, play with it. Is this my favorite? No, but that doesn't matter. So play it the way that you like it, first of all. But yeah, when you build these, try to find a theme. I'm gonna just open the residential building here, just for the big buildings, because that's what you're really using. And there are a lot more here than you have, and I will do my best by the time this video comes out to have the mod collection of all reviews. That is, every mod that I'm ever subscribed to will be in that collection. It will be a huge collection, but a lot of people have asked me for it, so I'll just put it out there. I'm not curating it, I'm not guaranteeing that they all work, but you will have all of them available if you subscribe to it, and it will be a lot. But yes, there are all these mods, and mods are great. Mods expand gameplay, and if you want to see what they do and how they do things, then there you go. The only thing I will tell you is look at the mods that you have available, and then decide, are these what I want right now? And if these are what you want right now, cool. Build a couple of them in a place and make sure that you actually like how they look. In this case, I'm not really worried about what they look like, but each of these mods will have some unique features about them. Sometimes they come in groups, like there's a these mods seem to go together just by the picture, I can tell that. And they can look really well in a city. Where things start looking weird is when you mix too many things in a row. In this case, you have these tall buildings, and you have a bunch of short buildings, then you have utilities inside of them, and then you have actually I kind of like where the radio and TV station are here. You just have a bunch of different things thrown together into the same place, and that's where I feel that a lot of the aesthetics get lost. Often my first city is always that way, because I start building one way and then I decide, I want to build a little bit different, and I want to build a little different, and I mean, it's probably fine. But over time, once you have the materials, money, time to actually plan out your cities ahead of time, make a very conscious effort to make the city look put together? No. Cohesive. That's the word. Make the city look cohesive. Because honestly, I kind of like this design. Like, there's just like, well, here is your train platform where everyone should go. Here are your cities. It's just a big worker organization, but there's a core to it. And then you just have a couple things around it that people just have to walk to and figure out what they're going to do. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. It's perfectly fine and viable. But then you just keep doing that everywhere, and then it feels wrong. And honestly, when I look at these only house about 400 people. The large vanilla buildings can house close to 400 people. Here, what do we have here, 189? Nope, they can't. I thought they were over 200, but they're not. I guess they're all close to 200. So yes, if you want to go bigger than that, go bigger than that, but just mix it up. Use a couple of different buildings. It makes your cities look a lot more lively. And if you put it in different areas at different times, then it just looks, it feels better. It feels better. And just decide wherever you want it. Like this quadrant, maybe just do ABC type of buildings, then this quadrant you do something else. Maybe just split the whole map in quarters and do something there. Maybe you just say every city is going to look different, and that's fine. I just highly recommend that, because I just see these buildings pretty much in every city, and that is the first thing I will recommend not doing. So that's the thing. And then there was a really direct question of building a city that can make the steel mill over here happy, but also the dry dock happy. So that's important. Does the dry dock have pollution? I honestly don't know, because that will matter for what I'm going to do next, because I would actually like to build this. So ships, there you go. I rarely ever go here. Harbor, aggregate, pumping harbor, ship dock, medium. Ship dock, small. Where is the dry dock? Cargo harbor, pumping harbor. Harbor for aggregate loading, harbor for containers and vehicles. How about engineering? Yeah, dry dock. Do you have pollution? Warehouse parking station, no pollution. That means this one will not affect your health if you build close to it. So, hey, why don't we just use this guy as a perfect example of what we're going to do next? So what we want to do is build, sorry, taking the picture out, build a city that can supply workers for the steel mill and for the dry dock. What is the first thing that you have to figure out? How many people do you need as workers in this case? And I would always ignore engineers versus workers. Oftentimes you will see that a lot of your republic is actually highly educated. Sometimes you don't. And if that's the problem, then you can just pop a university in a place where you need more engineers, and you generally get a pretty good return on investment there. But a university will require a lot more workers. But for right now, just take the simple numbers. We have 500 people here, 400 people here as normal workers, and 100 engineers. That's another 500 workers here. That's what you want. So to get started, you need 1,000 workers. That's what they say. Then you got to do the math. How many shifts are there in a day? Well, a work shift is 8 hours. A regular day has 24 hours. Take that number, take that math, because this game has so many different time scales that if you try to figure them all out by yourself, it's not going to work, because an in-game day is 60 hours. So don't think about it. Also, 1 year, one sim year is about 1 month. Also doesn't make sense. So don't worry about that too much, but one work day is 24 hours, and one work shift has 8 hours. So 3 shifts per day, and then you start over again. So you need 3 full shifts. That is 3 times 1,000. So you need a city of at least 3,000 workers to get started. Cool. What else do you need? Well, you have other buildings. For example, a shopping center that you need. Shopping center needs 45 people times 3 again, so this is about 150 people, 135 if you go exact. So there you add another 150, for example. Then you need a hospital that actually works. That's another 100 people, so times 3. So you have 150 people here, hospital time plus 300, so we're close to 500. I don't go super into detail here because it doesn't, the numbers don't need to be perfect. And as you can see, you don't actually treat that many patients if they're generally healthy. They only get really sick when you have problems in the winter, for example, or other places. So you don't necessarily have to max this out. Maybe having 25 people working here is good enough. So keep that in mind. That's only 75 instead of 300 workers. And then you have cinema, just a few people. So this probably doesn't make a difference. So all of this together, we may have 200, 300, 400 people now that we need. You need a swimming pool. Definitely, there's another 60 people, so less than 100. So we're close still to 400. However many schools you need. This one is hard to guess. In a city of 5,000, I feel like usually 1 is good enough, 1 school, as long as it's available. Sometimes you want to add a second one. Just depends on how you want to set that up. And then you have other things. Oh, there's another hospital here. Interesting. Then you have other things. For example, kindergarten. Where is that? I can't find the kindergarten. I want to click on them. But let's say for a city of 3,000, you need 2 or 3 kindergartens, maybe 4. Depends if you want them all to work at the same time. But this all adds up. So what I like to do is just a generic round number throwing in there somewhere. I don't really count it. It's somewhere between 500 and 1,000 workers is for utility work. Because what you also have to add is a heating plant if you need it, and then that's probably it. And the heating plant is really important. And you do not want to consume 100% of your workforce in your city, because that means every once in a while you'll not be able to fulfill everyone's job. So overestimate just a little bit and then plan your city. And that's the buzzword. You have to plan it, because right now we know what we need. We want to bring people here. Okay, easy enough. And we want to bring people here. Cool. Because the dry dock does not have pollution, we can go really, really close to the dry dock when you want to build your city. And that is awesome. How close do you have to get? Well, it's up to you. You can also just have them walk there from a station, from a central station that you will have all your people go to. When I do this, I generally like, it's more like a tutorial style, I like to stay with vanilla. And honestly, the vanilla train platform is plenty. It has a lot of work access, and it has 1,500 spots open. So that that will be enough to enable you to send out trains to your steel mill when you need it. So what I want to do first is plan this so that everyone can reach the train platform, and then from the train platform itself, they can walk to the dry dock, which is where you want the workers. The dry dock does not have any footpaths. Interesting. I always forget that, but so this is our straight path. So what we need to figure out is how far can we go away? And 400 meters is the max, which is, this will be the max, so the train platform has to be closer than that. And use this tool because it's going to get really important once the water stuff comes out. I haven't been able to play it yet, but I'm very excited to actually check it out. So that is your length for how far the train station can get away. And cool, that should work. So get your first plan in there. I'm going to do this just a little closer because I'm a little paranoid. So right there, that's our start. And then one of the other questions SB Fury was asking about, I'm going to try to answer this at the same time, is his rail network. He calls it a little bit spaghetti and gets out of control a lot and all that. And well, I'm looking at it and I have to agree. Yes, it is a little spaghetti. But honestly, the big thing that I will tell everyone is understand the purpose of your rail. What do you want the rail to do and how you want to do it? This one is stuck. I'll see if I can fix that, but understand the purpose of your rail. And the best way I would recommend, not the best way, but the way that I would recommend you go about this, oh, you have fuel turn off. That's probably good. Sorry, the best way to go about this is to have one core rail line that you want to connect everything else you have to. That core rail line is very important that can transport as much throughput as you're planning for in your republic. Sometimes that means just double track like you have pretty much everywhere. Sometimes that means quad track or 6 double track. Is that the word? Probably. Just know what you're trying to do. And then you build your core or main line or whatever you want to call it from there. Something you should always avoid is single track. Sometimes single track is a nice thing to have when you build everything at home. But overall, single track is usually a source of frustration at some point down the road. So keep your double track at least double tracked. You can make single track work, but only on a very lightly used rail network. Otherwise, it's just always going to be overflowing. You always have queuing trains, and at some point, it will hurt your economy and even slow you down to an extent that it's going to be very hurtful. This is great. Just keep this up. I see you have a couple crossings every once in a while. Make those purposeful. Put those crossings closer to junctions that you already have. So you don't have, I'll show you what this looks like. Oh boy. You see all these colors? All of these colors are not blue. That is something you should avoid. Orange is your friend. Orange just means it's a single junction. Anything that's not orange means it's a junction next to a junction next to a junction. And green is actually one of the really bad ones because there's too many junctions in there. What you want to do is get rid of all colors that are not orange or blue. So in this case, it just means there's too much going on. Also, you have two-way track. I would highly recommend watching some of my signal tutorials and just trackline tutorials in general. I'll try to remember to put something up there, but if someone wants to just share it down below, that's also fine. But in this case, what should you do? Only place these crossover, these diamonds, when it's actually absolutely necessary. Where is a good place for that, for example? Right here. Let's just do this example so we can actually fix this. The best place that I can see here to build a crossing is right here. So just be purposeful about these. It doesn't look perfect, but that's fine. Why is right there the best place? Because any train will go across this track, this piece of track, all the time. They go right or left, doesn't matter. And then they can cross right here to wherever they need to go. Do they even need this? No. Normally I would say single direction track, one directional track is what you want. But for some reason, if it's set up this way, and if you have to set it up this way, just get rid of the crossovers where they don't belong. So that's what we're going to do now. Get in here, take this crossing out. And if this was something that you set up at the beginning, because, see, crossing. These are all junctions, and they will connect the blocks in a way that don't allow other trains to move in them. Yeah, if this was something you set up because you were constructing things, that's fine. But just take them out afterwards. You want to leave a couple in. Just don't go overboard. Don't go overboard, and it will be fine. Okay, now set up the signals. As you can see, we got a blue block over here now because I removed the junction that was here. There's still a long junction here, but that's not the end of the world. Now we just have to turn this into a single junction. Use your directional track. I'm going to not block the road there, so it should be fine. Use your right signals whenever you can. We plop one in here, we plop one in here, so it's always chain in, chain to enter, and block to exit. The block one is a single arrow and the chain is a double arrow. So there you go. That already helps a little bit because now all of this is an actual train piece. And you have another crossing here. All you do by adding the crossing like that is remove the ability to make this a block for a train that actually can go in there. All you're doing is just make this all one piece, even though it's two tracks, because this color simply means everything's connected. So if a train is here on this piece of the track, nobody else can enter anywhere into this color, and that's what you want to avoid. So get rid of all these crossovers. You do want to have a couple in your Republic. That's usually only something that you need when you upgrade from concrete to electrified rail later on. Otherwise, you don't even need them if you set up your track in the first place. But yeah, that's the first thing I will tell you. Don't do too many crossovers, and then you get more blue. You see, I removed a couple of them, not all of them. There's still a lot more going on here, but yeah, that's the first thing. And then just plan your rail. The double track is great. Keep that up when you build it. Just build as much double track as you can up to a certain point. Then put a crossing there, and then make it all one-way track and get your construction cranes out there. If you're upgrading it later, leave the crossing in at least like every 2 or so kilometers. That's helpful. But otherwise, just get rid of it. Okay, now we're back here. Planning. And we're going to plan several things. The first thing, the road that we're planning, just plop it in there. And you do need to make sure that this is in walking range. So the first thing I'm going to do is just... is it auto-build? Oh, stuff is auto-building. Interesting. Actually, that's pretty fine. We are speeding up. Cool. Let me get this done quick. Beautiful. That was quick. So the first thing I want to make sure is everything is in walking range. It is in walking range. There's only 280 meters to get there and they can walk there. Beautiful. So we got that fixed. The next thing I like to do, especially when I know that I have high traffic rail going on in this case, is just get your rail organized. I'm going to lay concrete rail here. I do know that there's a dry dock there, so when you build this, you have to make sure that you can get under this. Technically, I could use this bridge, but it's just single track. Single track scares me. And I don't see a good way to expand this right now, so I don't really want to connect to that single track. Instead, I would build a second bridge over here, make it look however you want, and then get it towards your steel mill, because that's one of the things that we want to get into. At the steel mill, again, I'm sure there are reasons why your rail is the way it is. Just try to use a main line. It makes your life a lot easier to expand later and to actually have this all connected. But as long as it's running, it's fine. If you want to get a train in here, just the way it's set up right now, I would recommend putting a train platform somewhere out here that's still in walking range of the steel mill, and you have a footpath here that you can just use. There you go. Put a footpath there, put one here, and then you can easily just put a train station here to connect everything. So make sure that you do that for the steel mill. You don't want to have a passenger train trying to get in here, especially if there's only one-way track or single track happening. So yeah, just build a secondary railway that goes around here that eventually terminates right in this area. I think you know what I'm talking about. Just set it up. And for this, the drop-off does not matter the size of the platform, so you can just use one of these guys, and that should be more than in range of where we're going. Wonderful. There you go. Now everything's connected. And if we build that, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be in walking range. There you go. 230 meters. So pretty easy. Cool. Next. I would recommend building the track at least both ways of your city, otherwise you're gonna forget it and it's gonna make it so much harder to build anything. So we get these out here. There you go. Out here, so you know that you're not gonna build something there. The other thing that always happens to me is building rolled way too close to your rail means you can't actually cross anymore. What you should do is build your road crossings first and then find a node that is near it. Then you can cross it. Sometimes it's even this close, as you just saw. Sometimes it isn't. It's just something that I learned that you should do that way, and it's nice. Cool. Do I want it that way? No, I don't. I don't. So yeah, planning a city. A lot of you like grids, and a lot of you don't like grids. So I'm not going to tell you which one is better or worse, because I don't think there is one. But I like to plan at least partially in what I want to do here. Something that's helpful, very helpful, is if you have all your utilities within walking range of your platform, which there's a pretty good chance that you're going to make this because you saw how big the range is. Like, they can make it all the way out here in a straight line. So what you could do, just to start out to plan, is build the core of your city, or make 2 cores of the city if you want. Just build something that makes enough sense for you. So maybe on this side, I like shopping. Just start of something. And if you can, consider, if you're auto-delivering, it doesn't matter, but consider, if you're not auto-delivering, how you can connect to this. So I'm going to turn this around so I have the factory connection over here connected, and then you can decide if you want to connect a warehouse to it or not. You can get a real connection to this. You can use mods for this. There are so many good options. I'm just gonna plop it in right here, and I will leave a little bit extra room just because if I drop it off directly in the warehouse with a distribution office or whatever, there is a chance that you have a slight backup of vehicles, but probably you won't. That's my first thing. Build a center for something over here. Once you have that set up, see what else can fit there. So find the next needs. And I always just go down from left to right and see what we need. Do we need any of these guys? There's different stores, different restaurants, other things. You could add this if you want to, and we're going to get to that later on. These are not necessarily, but they can help. They can help. If you're just low on food or low on meat somewhere, these restaurants will definitely help you. So keep that in mind. Do you want a pub? Sure, why not? Put a pub somewhere. A pub is something that can probably fit almost anywhere in a city, and you can have multiple of these, so that's something I usually keep for later. It's also a really small building, so don't worry about that. Beach, cafe, bar, that all makes sense. What's a nice thing to have? Honestly, often next to a shopping center, there's a cinema, because it's like a little shopping mall, so I may as well throw that there. That looks nice. Culture-wise, you can add more of these. I don't think they completely work currently in the game. The cinema takes care of it. Some of these are supposed to take care of religion as well. I really don't see it very often, so I stay away from that. Don't want it. TV station. This is huge. So, and you already have one. They don't really stack, but if you want this, plan it early or leave it really far outside of the city. For example, we could put one probably here that only some of the buildings will be able to reach it. That could be fine too, but we don't need it. So keep that in mind. Sports. Sport is something that you probably want everyone to go to and everyone to be able to get to it. Just consider where is a good place for it. I don't know. Maybe right here is fine. Maybe build just a little core like this. Is this the prettiest? I don't know. It's fine. But everyone will be able to walk to this if they can walk to the station. Also, give yourself a chance and add footpaths wherever you can, because then people can actually get there more independently than with walking to the station. Just make sure it's actually reachable from everywhere. Give yourself some guidelines where you don't want to have buildings popping in. And there you go. Now everyone should be able to make it to these guys at least, and that's important. Now, if you find something like this, where you had a connection, or you could have a footpath connection, but because you built bad, you can't, this is why you plan. This is exactly what we're doing right now. You have a chance right now to figure out all the things that you need to do. So we're just gonna expand or take this away a little bit, and then you have a node now right here, and you can actually connect these a little better. This is not completely necessary, but sometimes it's nice to be able to do that and understand that you should do that whenever possible. Now, of course, if you look at it, you can't have a footpath on that side because that node is just gone, but you can have a path on this side. Cool. I set that up, get that one in here, and now we would be able to put some residential buildings on this side as well. Excellent. Then you keep going and you see all these tiny spaces right now. Those are great, great places for loyalty, for some monuments. There's something in here, you can use the same one. These will just stare at each other. I think that's interesting enough. So there you go. 2 red stars right at the beginning. Seems like a pretty cool deal to me. Let's connect these nicely, and I like it. That's your core. That's your start. And you have to go down the road. Now, this is all commercial. Like, there's a swimming hole or sport. Is this really commercial? Maybe, maybe not. Not really. Possibly. But takes care of things. And then just ask yourself, what else do I want? What else do I need? Well, go look around. Let's get just a road connection somewhere here. I like grids to an extent, but sometimes mix it up just because it's more fun. And then, sure, we have a road already right here. Let's use it. We do have a road already right here, so let's use that too. Just natural progression of the city. Now we have some border lines, and we can see that this corner is a little bigger than this corner. Maybe that's helpful. Let's look at what buildings we have left here. We definitely need a school somewhere. I'm happy to put a school here. A school does not necessarily need a road connection because it doesn't have actual parking spots. So you could just plop in the school right here. If you want to be really crazy and you're going to have a really big city, you could have just 2 schools back to back here. They should be pretty much in walking range, and school-aged children can walk to the school building all by themselves. So that's pretty neat. Wow. I need to look at the time here because we're getting there. So there you go. Now you have a nice core. And honestly, the core was probably not the big problem that you were talking about, but it's one of the things. Now you have students there. Sometimes it's nice to have an orphanage just because maybe it feels right, and the orphanage does need a road connection because you need to be able to deliver products to it. So maybe this is a good place here. Oh, it fits right here. Awesome, like it. Just flatten it out a little bit and put it right there. Now, an orphanage does not have a range. An orphanage is for the whole republic, and they will go there as they need, as they can't find, the orphans go there as they can't find a place anywhere else in the republic. So you can place this really anywhere, but in a big city, it's probably a good thing to have because you should have enough extra citizens, extra workers to make that one work. And then just make sure that you have a footpath connection here. Now we already did something to the footpath that cut it off and lays it a little more to the south. Embrace it. Just connect it somewhere that you have now this really nice big spot over here. What can we do there? Let's look at the next things that come down the road. You don't have a fire station yet. Fire station, very, very important, but you need it in a way that covers your city, but also covers the rest of your places of interest, I suppose, which in this case is just down here, the dry dock. You definitely don't want that to burn down. Maybe it's a really nice place to have over here. Could be fine. Maybe I can put you a little closer to the road, but put it somewhere. Sometimes I put it more central, sometimes I don't. And then a hospital, if you're in the US, fire stations and hospitals kind of work hand in hand because the ambulance system is a little weird, but you don't have to do that. Now this just feels like it's too tight. It doesn't make sense. I don't want to do it there. So how about we just put the hospital over here, and then instead of having the the fire station out there, put it right next to the hospital. Now they belong here. Cool. Get rid of that one. Get rid of this one. Build it for a second. Sorry. Voice. Glass of water. Yummy. And there you go. Now we have a nice little core that is not just centered. It is maybe it's a little context friendly. This one, honestly, I feel like that doesn't really belong there, so I'm going to change my mind on that right now. Thank you. And get the swimming pool up to this area. Again, the swimming pool doesn't actually need a road connection because it doesn't have parking spots, so may as well put it behind here. Just because, why not? Like, they can all get there because it's definitely a walking range of the station. So may as well use it and embrace it. And then you can already see there are a couple places here where you can make a nice footpath connection. So use that. Use that to your advantage because it will help you down the road. Wonderful. Now, what else do we need? Looking down here, you could throw in a university, whatever fits here. In really big cities, I really like the headquarters, but they don't always fit anywhere, everywhere, and are not always appropriate. But in this case, maybe just throw it out here. So I like to get all the utilities done besides kindergartens. Kindergartens are the last thing I add because they're more residential related. And then I go smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. The only thing you sometimes have to think about sooner are heat exchangers. And they are, because they're not as small, like the little substations, you can usually find spaces almost anywhere. And I actually sometimes, as I'm doing right now, leave the road connections just a little bigger, a little wider. So I could, down the road, put a substation in between, and I'll show you what I mean. Just, you see that this is a little longer than before. I think if you push H, not H, maybe when it's built H, you see the nodes that are available there. So now I can go down here, get your electric substation, and the substation can actually just connect right into there if I wanted it to. I don't know if this is a good place for it or not, but it's a good one to start with, so may as well do that. That's good, and then as I said, heating. But first, make sure that you need nothing else. You have crime and justice turned off, that is fine. Secret police, do you want to know loyalty? Sure, loyalty. Secret police feels like a great place to put right over here next to the headquarters. Now the way, ooh, that's good enough. A little tight, but it's good enough. But now I don't like where the cinema is. So take your time with this. There is no right or wrong setup at the beginning. There's just a good or bad planning. So I didn't like where the cinema was there, the way it was looking. That's fine, just change it. Get your cinema out. This one also does not need a road connection if you don't want it, and it feels like it will fit a lot better right here. So may as well just put it in there and get stuff done. There's no shame in that. And now you have this nice little path here that you have a nice connection to wherever you need to go. Awesome. I thought the game just crashed because the music turned off for a second. City Hall Accounting Office. This is something I like to have. It's not necessary at all, but it adds a little bit of je ne sais quoi, if you know what I'm talking about, to the game. And where does that fit? Well, there's a little bit administrative thingies here, but honestly, there's just a big gap right here that I'm not sure what to do with yet. So just plan that in there. And sure, but again, it's not necessary because you get all the stats already through the different overlays and other things. I hope eventually that is locked behind. If you don't have an accounting office, you can't see those numbers like the secret police does for loyalty. But it is what it is. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's not the beginning. It's fine. Get these connected. Get this one over here. Now, if you're super anal about this, you have to make your paths really straight, then go for it. That's totally fine. I'm not that person. I am nowhere near that person. So just keep that in mind. Don't make yourself go crazy for that either. And if you don't like paths running across your railroads, that is totally fine too. That's actually something sometimes I can appreciate, sometimes I don't. And then just take your time, go back to what you were doing, get your overpasses or underpasses, whatever you want to use. I'm going to use one of these. Does this fit? It does not fit right there. So in that case, let's mess with this footpath, and I'm pretty sure this side is about the same length. Mess with that footpath, get something out there to make it look nice. Sure, right there. Doesn't have to be crazy. It's just a very simple connection. I don't like that the pillar is where it is, but I'm not gonna fight it too long. Then just align your footpaths a little bit. There you go. One on this side. This one looks like it was probably okay. Get everything connected again. Those guys can go in there. Those can go in there. You can go here. And then the way I build it, I could have done it just a little better, but it could technically connect right here, and that's fine. It's just a continuation of the footpath. I can lay these out however you want. And then something that's nice when I do it, if you find open spaces like this, sometimes it's nice to just medium, big, small fountain. Sometimes it's nice to just add a little bit accessories to it. Okay. Okay, that works. Just put these on this side. As you can see, it did something to the dirt here because there was probably a little discrepancy about the height. And that's fine. Sometimes that happens. You can fix this really easy. You don't have to go crazy. Just put a couple signals there, then remove a couple signals there, and now it looks fine. So don't go crazy over that. Now we have a little bit of space there. And then you could add more monuments or other things if you want to. You can add the lights there, all those things. Every once in a while, just feel... grab a couple plants, make a little park, make something. This is city skyline-y. Like I'm not a great city skyline player, but if you get into a situation like this, just add a little bit of parky feel to some of your buildings. You don't have to build everything super packed. Just take your time. This one could be a big park, could also just be a big residential area. Does not matter. So there is that part, and you can go as crazy, as detailed or undetailed as you want here. It doesn't matter. There's a swimming pool there, a hospital there. There's a university here. It probably would be appropriate to have a big park here that's part of the headquarters. I don't know. You can build a park to the back. You can make a beach house cafe, beachfront cafe behind here. All of that is appropriate. If it's useful in your republic, at this point, honestly, doesn't matter. Like at some point, you have so much money that you don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. If it's useful or not, you just do it because you like it or because it looks nice. And you just fill it in. Great. Now to the thing, you have heating turned off. let me turn on heating because I feel like this is a very important part of the game. You have to restart. Yeah. And I know you have heating plants in the game, so you probably just had them on and off, and winter was really complicated or something. That's totally fine. And that's not a problem. I just want to show how I do this. It is really, really easy to overload heat exchangers wherever you have them. And at this point, you have to figure out where do you want your heating plant, because you can't put it here. This will be too close for pollution. Oh, it will be pretty close, but it could be too close for pollution. You don't want it there. So you're probably going to put it somewhere over here, maybe next to this water pond. It would be really cool if the water expansion or the water update is actually going to add I actually know for a fact that they're planning on adding water demand for factories. So maybe your heating plant, it's going to go out here somewhere, make it far enough away to not cause pollution, but lay out your heat exchangers that way. You could put one right here. This feels like an okay place. It covers a lot of stuff, but it doesn't cover everything. You could put another one here if you wanted to. It just feels like a really dirty place for it, honestly. You could put one right across from your current substation. That one can cover actually a lot, so that's not bad. But again, these get overloaded really easy. In a city of 3,000, plus it's at 1,000 for utilities, 4,000, 5,000. 2 are probably not going to be enough. 3 may be enough. 4 is probably the right number. And if you can, spread them out evenly. If you can't, that's fine too. I think setting them up like this, the game sometimes does some weird math that is not evenly split, so maybe don't do that. And spread them out a little more. And then you can just decide, well, I really want one here. I really don't want one right here because it's not even enough to the other one that I just placed. And then use your planning. Use your planning time to make things look the way you want them to look. Now, do I want to place it here? Well, that one is already looking that way, so may as well have this one looking this way. And now I'm thinking, well, may as well just put one here. And now we have 4 set up pretty much centered in the city, but the large heating plant can only power 3.5 of these. So you would, at this point, need 2 heating plants, and you have to worry about that. I would highly recommend within the city to run your heating pipes underground. It just looks a lot prettier, but you can do whatever you want to do. Now you have your core set up. And now the thing that I was actually talking about earlier, pick a style. What do you like? And I wish there was a filter for this, but what do you like? And even just looking at vanilla, you have these flat prefabs, or you have, where are the brick buildings? There we go. There's some brick. There's some brick. Whatever you want. Even these. You could start with these really big, long buildings. And for some reason, they actually fit here. I didn't plan that, but they do. So you could place them all here back to back to back, or you can make, for example, big squares. Let's see if we can make one that looks decent. Put one there, put one here, put one here. I could rotate them with R, make it a little more efficient, and put one here. And you just have to make sure that you count your building, or count your citizens. So these are all 175 each. Let's call them 200 because math is hard. So we just placed 800 people in this little square. Cool. That is neat. And these are brick buildings, right? That's what you saw. These are brick. Cool. Do we have small brick buildings that could fit into that area? This one does not look like it would fit there. This one looks like it may fit, but probably not really. Do I have any smaller ones that can fit that style? Maybe. No, nothing I really like. This one could fit, but you could consider adding a couple more buildings in the middle here, or just leave it open. Space is okay. Now we started with that one. So you could just continue doing the same thing. You could also use the clone tool and say, I really like this layout. I want to do it again right here. Cool. And I want to do it again right here. Cool. And I want to do it again right here. And I got lucky with the layout there. And then maybe you want to just continue doing that. That is fine. You know that each of these blocks is 800 people. You can make it pretty. And now that looks really, really nice. And you can have another block right here. Is this perfectly mirrored? No. But when you build this, it looks the same. And now you have this open space right here. What are you going to do with that? Well, find some buildings that you like. They don't have to be the same. They just don't have to clash with it. Currently, we are using brick buildings, so keep that in mind. Brick buildings will look nice with brick buildings, but they can also look nice with other types of buildings. So maybe we put something more temporal? No, contemporary. Contemporary right here that kind of aligns that way, and fill out this block if you want to. That's fine. Do something like this. That looks pretty neat to me. And then I'm going to try to build this at the very end with some paths too. And then you may say, I would like a big fountain. It feels like it could fit right here, so may as well throw it in there. Do you need to mirror that? No, absolutely not. Get something else in there that you like. Maybe two Lenins that look at each other, and that's like a landmark. Lenin statues. There you go. Is this cool? I don't know. Is it super effective? No, because the Red Star Monument is a lot better at giving you loyalty, and you could just go crazy and put a Red Star Monument pretty much every other one like that, and now you have loyalty coming in there, and then you can just keep doing things. Just build different types of monuments inside your buildings. Put one there. Let's go a little, no, I like the symmetry with those at least. Put those here, and then just get another copper statue just in the middle. And you can use mods or whatever you want to use here. There's no right or wrong. And now we have built the north part of the city, and we have 800, 1600, 2400, 3200, 4000, over 5,000 people living here. And that's a good start, and all of them can walk straight to here once we did the pathing. But you still have more room. Still have more places that you can make something work. And you have this natural, there's an ugly again. Sorry, I made an ugly. You have a natural separation right here with the railroad. So you could do something a little different on the south side of the city. So let's see. And obviously, I'm making this very square, very gridded. This one is not, but I don't want to go back and actually fix this in a way that this road lines up better with that and that everything is symmetric. I'm okay with it the way it is. But you can go in now and say, well, the city on the north side is fancier because it's brick buildings. Maybe the city on the south side is a little poorer and they're more just a worker class. So find some prefabs that you like. Doesn't matter which ones they are. And start filling in the space. and give yourself space. Don't go super crazy on what you do. I just pressed RR there, and if I push this one here, it's not going to look that great. So maybe I'll just flip them around like this. Again, space is good, and this is just the poorer, somewhat poorer citizens that live in the Republic that can go straight to the shopping center. And you can make a block out of these if you like them. If you don't like them, that's fine. Maybe you've built now a couple of these already, and you're like, well, is there something else? These look very similar. Maybe we can make something with those. Maybe for some reason, the architect decided that these need to be angled now. Don't know why, but they're angled now. So they build a little block of those. These look pretty similar, so may as well build those. Do we have anything else that we like? No, not really. Let's go back to the original ones. And would this make it too tight? I would argue no if we spread them out just a little bit, like... Come on, I saw you being green. And this is obviously not on a straight line, but this is densely packed, but is this too much? I think it's fine. So now, and you still have enough more space. So now you have the prefabs over here, and you're not completely done yet. If you need more workers, you can make this as big as you need. At this point, I do know that this one shopping center is not going to be enough for everyone to get what they need. So you have to start thinking about local shopping stores. So maybe this is not a good place for those monuments. So let's go back to where we were. Get a shopping center, in this case, just a small one. Not planning to have a storage unit on these, just that they can get delivered via distribution office. Let's line it up, if you can, that you don't add extra nodes to your roads. So right there should be fine. And honestly, this could be another good place for it if we need it, but then it's too symmetric maybe. Maybe it's not, maybe it's fine. You can also, this is also a good chance to add some of these ones that are just restaurants where you can get food and meat, because people will go there and get their stuff done. 25, what's this? These are all workers, so just the restaurant. Where does the restaurant fit in? Maybe the restaurant is a better fit right here, so let's try that. And that's how you go around. Note that a lot of the stuff I'm using right now is vanilla. I like vanilla. There's nothing wrong with vanilla in my opinion. So make use of it. I don't like where the footpaths are. I want you to have the footpaths on this side so they're actually accessible by all the workers that are here. Now you can see that this may have a, nope, you can get the path through there, that's all I want. But now they can get food here, they can get some extra groceries there, they can all go to the shopping mall over here. So they have everything that they need. I don't know why that one was deleted at some point, probably because I tried to build this overpass, and then I didn't want to build that overpass anymore. And there you go. Now the last city, and this is a huge city that's going to happen, and I mean, I like huge cities, sometimes they're more appropriate than others. Maybe this is just an expansion of the city at this point. So build something that could fit here however you want. I'm just going to do something a little different. Well, different. I'm going to do something like this that is more... There you go. That is more a like road-shaped, because the road around it makes offers this more than the other thing. Should I leave the heat exchanger right there? Why not? Why not? Let's leave it there. And then here you can say, well, we're pretty close to what we need. Let's add the other things. Kindergarten, right here in the middle. How about a kindergarten and a place to play? You can, as you've seen maybe, I'm not going to connect roads to any of the residential buildings. It is not necessary anymore. You can... as long as there's a footpath connection, the emergency vehicles can get there, and that's all I care about. And oftentimes, it looks a lot prettier. But look at this. You can put a football playground here. It's a little fancier place, maybe. You can have a kindergarten right next to Stasi, right here, where stuff happens. Or you can just add a kindergarten right here near the shopping area, because a lot of people work in this area, so there's probably going to be a need for a kindergarten right there. You can add kindergartens wherever you feel like it. It's just a matter of how much you want to invest in it. You can put kindergartens in the middle of these squares, which that feels a little weird. So I'm not going to do that. Trying to find a good place for one. Honestly, I kind of like here. So let's remove a couple buildings and then get our kindergarten in there. Again, is this the best way to do this? No. And also, you could, in this case, I may recommend some larger kindergartens. So this one can handle 100 kids. This one can handle 600 kids. It is cheat. I'm not going to use that one. But there are some really nice bigger kindergartens that actually feel very appropriate. For example, this one feels totally appropriate, and it can handle 480 kids, or not as many teachers. So you can plop that one right down here. There's a similar one for a school. I think it's this one. It's not perfectly similar, but there you go. Now you have covered a lot of the citizens that are here. Is this going to be enough? Hard to tell for right now. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But you made something that looks a little different. So all of this is taken care of. You still have some space over here, and honestly, I would maybe move a little bit of this power line if I wanted to, but you could make this near the headquarters, make this the fancy area. Just give your building some purpose, and they will look really nice when you're done with them. I think I like these medium bricks. I like the angle right now, so we're going to go with the angle. I think you really want to be anal about this. You can make these somewhat align with the correct squares. I can't really see the squares, to be honest, so I'm just going to do this more by hand. Plop a couple in there, and then just plop 2 in here. I wanted 2, can't get 2. Does this look great? I don't know, don't love it, don't hate it, can't decide. Maybe a couple more small buildings somewhere around here. It looks like a pretty good spot. I see a lot of these types of apartments or buildings in my town that are just this close together. So I feel this is okay, even though I am not currently in the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore, you know what I'm talking about. And there you go. Now you have a bunch of stuff here. You do still need to connect footpaths for almost everything, so make sure that you do. And give yourself shortcuts with the footpaths, wherever they want to go. For example, here, you don't fit. We're going to make it work. Doesn't want to fit. Use your footpaths to your advantage. Let's see if we can get one through there this way. Yes, we can. And now you can disconnect. So that one works just fine. This one probably needs one like this. And then these buildings, every once in a while, have problems, so try that again. Anyways, you just built a bunch of footpaths here. You have to keep footpaths under consideration, or you have to consider footpaths when you build your cities, because that's your best way to navigate your cities as a citizen. I'm just going to do a couple here. And in here, maybe a nice little gravel road or asphalt road can work. Maybe you're just going to do footpaths. Maybe you add some interior something rather. And I'm starting to think I should have turned these around the other way, because the footpaths are all pointing the wrong direction. But that's something you can fix. I'm not going to fix that right now. Anyways, let's get this one in here, this one there, and then this one can just go right here to the shopping mall. This one just connects. Again, this is just added flavor. You can do whatever you want there. Let's get this all built. You still need to add substations for all of these. But let's get this all built. And then regrow the grass a little bit. And you have a city. Now, an N makes the grass disappear. That doesn't look bad. This guy's still being built. Let's add a couple more trees in places that are a little barren. Trees actually do really well at pulling a city together. Definitely add trees within these residential blocks. And again, up to your flavor taste, if you like this kind of behavior, if you like to set them up like this or not. It's completely up to you. The trees are not going to grow right now. I could use a cheat menu, but I will use a cheat menu. CHE at the same time. There we go. And then you can go up here, general debug functions, make all vehicles, landscape, growing trees, speed up growing trees. Thank you. Now we speed this up a little bit. Look at the trees, they're growing. Does that make the city look better? I don't know, it makes it look a little different. Maybe it looks a little better if you take all the trees out from the surroundings, but I'm happy with this. So, build a city. Again, just pick a style and use it in places and be purposeful about it. Like this is a fancier area. This is just Plattenbau if you're in Germany, or prefabs. This is prefabs too, just added a little later. These are the old barracks, maybe that's how the city started, and so on. Just give yourself a story and make things work. It's totally worth it. Now, if you look at these, it only uses 70% of the drain. That is perfect. 85% of drain, that is perfect. 58, that's perfect. The top number is all that are in range, and the bottom number is how many are assigned to it. So this seems to work just fine. Maybe 3 would have been okay. But there's a city for you. And it appears that I built 2 fire stations here instead of a hospital, so please forgive me. But yeah, that's how I would do that. Wow, that's been an hour. I'm really sorry. We're out of time. But there's one more question that was being asked over here in the tourist town. How do you build it? The thing is, it doesn't matter. It makes no difference. The only difference between tourists is they live in hotels instead of residential buildings. That's fine for them. But they do require everything else. They want a shopping center. They want some attractions. They do want, they want a lot of different things. And attractions themselves, let's look at this one. Gallery of Art. Sure. If you place it here, it's 1 star. If you place it in a forest, they change their values depending on where you place them. So let me check something. Still just 1 star. What is your max value anyways? 1 star. Attraction score, 0.8. Maybe that's a bad one. Give me something with a little bigger. 3.6. They actually... Oh, yeah. I don't know if you saw that, but over here, they're just a little more than 3 stars. Over here near the water, they grow their rating a little bit. So they like to have these really close to water. That's where you want them. And other different things change their ratings, but honestly, just give them enough to do and supply it with workers. That's all you want to do. And you can invite as many tourists as you want. Play with it. I don't know what the perfect setup is, but as you just saw, you can actually change the ratings a little bit. And the higher the rating, the more money you make off of them or something like that. I don't know. Tourism was OP at some point. Now it's just pretty normal. And if you add it, that's good. They will take public transport, so set up some transportation for them and also your workers. And just have fun with it. Build a city. Reasonable. Build something that's fun for you. If you like grids, lay out the grid first. If you like curvy roads, if you like organic shapes, do that first, and you should be fine and have fun. But yeah, that's what I would do. The city that I built, I do want to call that out, is bigger than what you need. Much bigger than what you need. But it is usable because the location of it currently, let's see how many people can actually walk here. Enough, because it can reach this guy, and this guy can probably reach... Oh, it can't reach everyone! Oh! Forgive me, bballjo is being an idiot. If that happens, I would just say, give yourself a chance by adding some bus stations wherever necessary. Get one there, and then I guess we don't need one here, but yeah, I just overextended. Oh, the problem is that I don't have footpaths everywhere, so not everything that's even walking range is even shown. So I'm going to blame it on that. Oh boy, been a long day apparently. Sure, do that game if you really insist. Let's see, I would assume you can actually walk to that one. And it can definitely walk a little further, but there are some out here that are probably out of range. Set up some local bus service to get people from A to B, and it will be worth it, like these guys. Also, for doing this within a city like this, I would actually recommend trolley buses. Makes life a lot easier for pretty much everyone. This is probably a good location for another bus stop, because you have to be able to get your workers to the central station that you want. So from here, I would just say, everyone, go there, go there, go there, and go there. So you actually concentrate them here when the buses arrive. And that's how I would set that up. Anyways, a lot of babbling. I probably forgot something else that's important, especially for crime and justice. Things are changing, but that's how I will build a city. and I hope that helps someone. Also, the rail, it's really just about planning. The tourism is really just about having fun, honestly. But have fun with everything. Skyscrapers are cool, just not all the time. Low buildings are cool, but not all the time. Large footprint buildings are cool, just not all the time. And try to find a style that kind of works together with everything. I really like most of this, but I think I have too many of the white buildings, so I will change that potentially, or just go white buildings, none of the other buildings. I like the southern part here a lot more than the northern part, and take that into account when you build the next city. Just figure out which ones you like more, which ones you don't. Anyways, really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I hope SB Fury, I helped you a little bit, gave you some impressions and things. I did not look at a lot of your other stuff, and I'm sure someone wants to see it. I like big industrial zones like this, as long as you fill them all with workers, which you aren't right now, which is really hard, because all of these are really high demand for workers. So it's really, really hard to keep them full. When you set these up, set them up similarly to the city that I built, where you have a central drop-off zone, so you don't have to worry about too many lines and everyone can go to the same location. That helps, but it's not the answer to everything. Anyways, that's what I would talk about. Yeah, I wish I would have gone in a lot more detail here, but I think most of this is pretty normal feeling. So yeah, there we go. That's how you build a city. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I helped someone. If you like this, do the YouTube stuff.